This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Well, come on in. As always, our home is your home, and if you like agritourism adventures, then this is the show for you.
That's right. Coming up on today's program, if you're thinking of getting into the agritourism business, why now could be the best time to do so. This couple had that dream, and now they're living it. Ray takes us to North Georgia and shows what separates this interactive farm bed and breakfast from others. And then later.
Well, hey everybody, Ranger Nick coming up. You've heard the slogan, happy wife, happy life. Well, how about happy cow, better milk now? I'm going to introduce you to a dairy farm in Georgia that's keeping cows happy, and it's ended up in better quality milk. All that and so much more starts right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
With more people making a conscious effort to eat healthier these days, growing greens have become big business around the country. And you can find one of the top producers right here in Georgia, where Baker Farms has everything they need to see their product from the seed to the shelves, all under one roof.
Daddy has always had dreamed of farming, had worked in the industry, in the industrial field, come back into the field of farming and hit the ground running. Obviously started small. It was very family oriented at the time. Everybody worked and did everything. I drove tractors and toted buckets, and Joe has too, and we worked a good bit as we grew up in the farming field.
And around 2000, you know, we decided we wanted to do something a little different, something that everybody else wasn't doing. So we began to put in collards, kale, mustard, turnips. We grew them from anywhere from the dozens that you see on the market. Then we transferred to the box greens, and then in probably 2015 we decided that we wanted to take it to the next level, and we started doing a value-added pre-chopped, pre-washed, ready-to-eat greens.
This is a process of getting something as prepared as possible to be able to serve and do that in the safest possible way. We have modified our system, whereas a lot of places do just a single or possibly a double wash. We do a true triple wash, and we use the proper amount of chemicals and multiple testing regimens to make sure when that ending process comes around, you've got the best, most cleanest, safest product that we can provide to the consumers.
You know, I don't think that anybody can do but a certain amount of things and do a good job at it. And I think the marketplace is so competitive now that you have to maintain top quality in whatever you do. From the consumer end to the retail end, they demand that you stay on top of your game. And I think that if you're not changing and if you're not upgrading and adapting, then I think you're falling behind. It's like anything else. There's certain times of the year that it's not difficult at all. But there's other times of the year, now that we're going into the spring, and then when we go into the summer, it gets pretty challenging to me. You know, greens like cool weather. They don't like 95-degree weather. So in the summertime, it's a challenge, but you know, during the summertime, we transist some of our product and some of our productivity all the way to Michigan. We've got boots on the ground, our own crews in Michigan where we're cutting product there. Well, the best, you can't survive without it. I mean, you have got to have, from the time you put that plant in the ground to the time you put it on that shelf, it's got to be, A quality. There's no room for error.
It's humbling in the sense that we were able to grow from a small family-owned farm to what we are now, and it gives us great pride that we can again provide that product to people that is a good, wholesome, safe product that they can take then home to their family, and really they become sort of as part of our family.
In case you haven't noticed, agritourism is thriving in Georgia, and those connected to this special aspect of farming say more and more farm operations are considering some form of that business. Agritourism is a unique experience that combines traditional ag with tourism. The executive director of the Georgia Agritourism Association spends a lot of time on the road in workshops like this one, confronting the issues that face farmers and educating consumers about the ag industry and connecting more farmers to the business of tourism.
For someone who's looking to get into agritourism for the very first time, there's actually a lot of support out there on a statewide basis. It's a new industry, it's kind of hot. Everybody is wanting to experience a farm. They're wanting to experience the food. No longer is it okay just to go to the grocery store and buy your food. They want that experience.
Olson's passion is talking about this fast-growing aspect of agriculture and believes 2017 will prove to be bigger and better.
People that are wanting to get into agritourism for the very first time, it can be very easy. With a little hard work and a little determination and really not a lot of land, you can start an agritourism operation anywhere in the state.
Well, the North Georgia, the mountains, you have apples. Mercier Orchards is a favorite for a lot of people from Metro Atlanta and all over the state. J. Moore Farms up in Hall County near Lake Lanier is a popular destination, and they've really grown in the last several years to expand their agritourism. And down here in the mid-state, Dickey Farms, Lane Southern Orchards have really grown and expanded their offerings to not only have retail, but also different activities on the farm.
Brandon Ashley is commodity specialist with Georgia Farm Bureau. He said it's important to help producers that are new to agritourism understand the ins and outs of the business.
We promote these agritourism and roadside market operations all over the state, and it's something that Farm Bureau has been doing for over 30 years. And Farm Bureau was one of the first organizations to really promote these kind of retail and agritourism operations. And it's really grown, and as more and more people across the state are doing it, it shows how innovative farmers are to be doing something that the consumers are just now starting to demand, but farmers have been doing it for a really long time.
And Olson reminds us keeping longtime farmers updated on changing laws and regulations is an important part of her job with the association.
It's important for the Georgia Agritourism Association to stay in front of agritourism operations, to remind them of their regulatory duties. Department of Revenue, remitting sales tax, what is sales tax exempt, what is not sales tax exempt. It's also important for us to stay in front of operators to remind them of who they are and what they're there for.
Now, if you'd like to find more information on this fast-changing industry of Georgia's agritourism, visit the Agritourism Association's website at georgia-agritourism.org. Now, speaking of agritourism, when we come back, meet a couple who left behind life in the big city and are now proud owners of a one-of-a-kind Georgia bed and breakfast. That's next when the Farm Monitor continues.
More recently, I've become much more involved in peanut genomics to sequence the genome of cultivated peanut and also its wild progenitors. In general, genetics plays a huge role in being able to feed the population. So peanut is a crop that's important to Georgia. Georgia is actually the #1 U.S. producer of peanuts. Peanuts actually originated in South America, but it traveled, quite early during exploration to Africa and to India. So it's been important as a crop in those countries for a long time. It's also important in China, and they are grown as a major crop in Argentina. So improving crop productivity is important, certainly to feed a growing world population. It's also important, of course, for the economic viability of U.S. farmers.
Just outside of Blue Ridge, Georgia, sits a 35-acre, fully interactive farm bed and breakfast that consistently ranks amongst the best on TripAdvisor and other travel sites. Now, why such high marks, you ask? Well, could be location, could be the features of the property, but after spending a day with them, my guess is it's the incredible couple who run the farm. Peace and tranquility. That's the norm these days for Lester and Diana Roddy. A far cry from their previous life in the suburbs of Chicago in western Florida. A 36-year veteran of law enforcement, the last 10 as a police chief, Lester says moving to the country was always the plan. And it just so happens that Georgia was the perfect destination.
You know, we've traveled extensively, and when we finally decided to retire, we didn't want to stay in Florida because it was too congested and always hot. So we wanted to move back up north again, so we moved halfway back, found God's country here in the mountains, and what better place than Blue Ridge, Georgia.
The move, however, didn't happen overnight. According to Lester, the whole process took about 3 years and included countless hours of searching the internet and making phone calls before finally deciding on the property now known as Horse Creek Stable.
It was a foreclosure. Everything was chest high with weeds. The barn behind me wasn't there. The fencing for the horses wasn't there. And slowly we just started piecing it all together. And we had this one little carriage house room that we gutted and completely updated. And we said this would be a perfect spot for our friends and family to come visit us. Well, then one thing led to another, and we said, well, why don't we rent it out as a bed and breakfast room when our friends and family aren't here? And it has just taken off in popularity. Traditionally, people think of a Victorian home with very ornate furnishings, and we market ourselves as a farm stay or agritourism bed and breakfast. You travel in Italy or many European countries, and they have agritourism hotel signs everywhere. People will stay at a vineyard, people will stay on a farm, and that was the experience that we wanted to give people here. So we get a lot of people that love animals, love the outdoors, and are just thrilled to have a farm stay experience.
During their stay, guests are also welcomed by the many animals that call Horse Creek home. Animals who are extremely special and who each have their own story.
We partnered up with the Georgia Equine Rescue League, and many of the horses have come to us through them. We also partnered up with Adopt a Golden Atlanta. We've gotten some golden retrievers from them. 2 of them were hit by cars, lost their legs, and they are now permanent fixtures. We've adopted them on the farm. And our latest little girl, she's 5 months old. She was born with a condition called cerebellar hypoplasia, and she can't walk very well at all. But the breeder took her to a vet to put her down. The vet said not without trying, turned her over to Adopt a Golden Atlanta, and they have placed her with us as a forever foster. She belongs to them, but she will hopefully live out all of her years here on the farm with us. And then we have the state of Georgia's only therapy miniature donkey that we've taken to assisted living facilities. People with kids that have special needs will come here. 2 weeks ago, we had one of the schools show up with a big school bus, and the kids got off and had a farm tour. And we don't charge anything for a tour, especially for kids that might have conditions similar to our animals. We really enjoy offering that to them.
And then there is Tricycle, another one of Diana Lester's fur babies, who was the inspiration behind this children's book, Tricycle and Friends. Its author, Lester Arati.
We ended up adopting Tricycle, and on our Facebook page we kept posting pictures of Tricycle interacting with the other animals. And all the volunteers and parents of Adopt a Golden Retrievers kept saying, you have to write a children's book, you have to put this in a book. So we eventually did. We're going to do this until we can physically no longer do it. And it is difficult work. Hopefully if the business does a little bit better, we can get some help. But right now it's Diane and I, and thankfully our adult daughter Jennifer is here for a short period of time and has been a workaholic on the farm. So it's been pure joy.
Great people, great place to visit, and all the animals, such a fun, loving environment. Now, if you would like more information on Horse Creek Stable and to check their availability, you can find them on Facebook or at the address you see there, horsecreekstableandlodging.com. Also, the book Tricycle and Friends, it is available at Amazon.com as well as BarnesandNoble.com.
Hey everybody, Ranger Nick coming up. What makes a cow happy and why is that important for milk production? I've got the answer on the other side of this.
So we are outside the design kitchen. This is our prototype. This is Lettuce Turn Up the Beats, first original prototype. The holes host baskets for plants, and we've got various different plants here. We're growing vegetables to output 1 salad a week for a year. This is through a university in Sweden called Chalmers University. They're the ones who asked us to do this to be as sustainable as possible. They want minimal user input, minimal user interference, if you will, and maximal, most efficient output. So these are the plants that we've had growing with us. We've moved this system outside. Our other prototype is inside.
Right now we have the plants are sitting in soil, and the soil is sitting in a bucket which is sitting in the holes in the plants. And the soil itself is not submerged in the water. What happens is, originally we would flood the soil with water, and then after we put it in the pipes, eventually the roots grow out at the bottom, and then the roots go into the water. And that's how plants get their water, is when the roots draw water from the water running through the pipe.
So as you can see from the prototype outside, this one is much taller as well as skinnier. This was a suggestion from our sponsors. They said that height is not a limiting factor, and so we can go taller than the 5-foot tall system we had outside. We also wanted to make it easier to take apart in case they wanted to transport it.
There's no good solution for inside, so that's how we kind of tried to approach it. There was no solution that was both like clean, looked like something that belonged in the home, was quiet and like pleasant to be around, and was big enough to like actually give caloric supplement to your week.
Finally today, frustrated with your cow's milk production or maybe just their attitude in general?
Well, Ranger Nick has a couple of solutions that actually work.
So I'm hanging out at Hillcrest Farms this month, one of the highest producing dairy operations in the Southeast. And I'm hanging out with Andy Rogers, happens to be a crop manager here at the farm, 3rd generation dairy farmer. Mr. Rogers, thanks for spending time with me today.
Glad to have you, right, Nick.
It's great to be out here and hang out together. So we've been talking about this idea. We said you guys are one of the highest producing dairies in the Southeast. But the question is, so what does it take to do that? How are these cows treated that you think relates to their high milk production?
Well, our #1 rule at Hillcrest Farms is cow comfort. We really stress to everybody that comes onto the farm that we want to treat our cows absolutely as best we can. We do everything we can to make these girls as comfortable as they can, because the more comfortable they are, the more milk we make.
And I know just from myself, the less stressed I am, the better I'm able to think, the more I'm able to do things right. So what are some things that y'all do here to make them less stressed and more comfortable?
To start with, the building that we are in is called a freestyle barn. There are 364 stalls in this barn that each cow can go lay down in. It's bedded with mortar grade sand. It's very comfortable, it's very dry. And I wouldn't mind laying down in the bed taking a little nap. It's pretty comfortable. Matter of fact, one of our things that we do occasionally, we will actually go put our knees down in the bed and see if it's dry, see if it's comfortable, see what she's laying in, and would I be willing to lay there? And the answer is yes, I would.
And so I'm seeing some things in here. I'm seeing fans. I'm seeing these things that look like little back scratchers. What is all that about in terms of that helps make them less stressed?
Fans are here when it gets hot in the summertime. The Southeast is really hard to produce milk because of the heat and the humidity. So we've got fans that are automated that come on when the temperature reaches a certain degree. It'll come on, keep these gals cool. We have some misters, or not misters, but flood tips on some sprinklers that will wet the girls and help cool them down. We've got rubber flooring for them to walk on. We want them to be comfortable at all times.
So one of the things that Hillcrest Farms does, obviously, is try to manage cow stress and make them feel better so they get better and more quality milk. And this job as Ranger Nick has allowed me to interact with a lot of wonderful folks, one of them including Pete Schlegel, country music artist. Good to see you, Pete.
Hey, pleasure's mine.
Thanks for being down here with us. I met Pete a number of years ago when he was out with Daryl Singletary, and Pete was doing a little serenade, a little karaoke, per se. One of them was trying to moo and sing back to you. Pete grew up on a dairy farm. Pete, I wonder why they weren't so comfortable with the music. What do you think was going on?
Well, maybe it wasn't any good. I don't know.
No, it was excellent.
No, I think cows are they're used to repetition.
Yeah.
And I think they, they're not used to a guy walking through with a guitar,
right.
and they were very apprehensive. But did you notice they kind of started to warm up a little bit as we kept doing it? And matter of fact, one of them started coming, towards us and actually started mooing. We weren't able to capture that on film, but she might have been saying, "Hey, get out of here too." I don't know.
When you look at this operation here, grew up in Ohio, how does this compare to the kinds of things you were doing up there and managing cows?
We were much smaller than this. Very small farm compared to this. I mean, this is state of the art, and it obviously shows there's a lot of pride and ownership here, and the owners are wonderful, and how they not only treat their employees but their animals as well.
Yeah,
so.
and one of the things they mentioned, and maybe off camera, was the importance of family. I want to talk about that as we wrap this up today, and thank Pete for coming on with us. I want to talk about how they monitor these ladies in here and make sure that things are going well. So let's take a look. So Andy talked to us about the importance of cow comfort. Pete mentioned the idea of repetition, how important that is that these ladies go to the same place and hear the same things each day. Mark Rogers is here to talk to us about these blue tags that are hanging underneath of their necks. What is that for?
That's technology. Here at Hillcrest, to manage by exception, in other words, to hunt that cow that day that's not performing to our expectation or to her potential, we use technology, and it's really great. It's made our lives so much better. Our cows have 2 transponders on them. One is a passive one. All it does is ID the cow when she walks in the barn, so we know who's standing there. As we gather her milking data, how her milk flows are, it feeds it all to a computer in the office. The other transponder is actually an accelerometer, and what that is, it's a transponder that monitors her motion in 3 dimensions. So in 3 dimensions, what we learn is if she's less or more active than normal. If she's less active, maybe she doesn't feel real good that day. It's kind of like me. When I don't feel good, I don't move around as much. So it allows us to know in this group of cows who's doesn't feel good. Or if she's moving a lot more than normal, then we know that she's probably coming into heat and it's time to artificially inseminate her. So it's really great to use all these tools that are available now.
What's incredible is I wish that folks had as many ways to monitor ourselves and keep our comfort up, and just the treatment of these ladies is just wonderful to hear about. Holy cow, pretty neat stuff. Well, if you are amazed like I have been today, one thing I want you to know is that UGA Extension is responsible for a lot of the secrets that have been shared today, and forage and health of some of these animals out here and what they're growing and what they're eating. It's been incredible. I want to thank Andy and Marley and Mark and Pete Schlegel. Y'all check out Pete's new album that's out there, J-Town. Check out the Hillcrest Farms Inc. Facebook page. Check out the Farm Monitor Facebook page, and while you're online looking around, come on over to the Ranger Nick Facebook page. I love to interact with you that way. Y'all, we always say at the end of these, enthusiasm's contagious, so pass it on. It sure is. Thanks so much for joining us here at the farm. We'll look forward to seeing you right back here next month. See ya.
Nick, thank you so much. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Remember, for all the latest ag info, be sure to check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.